Hello there, only one Kenobi here, only one. This is the last video I'm going to film of the evening because I'm getting tired, man. But I'm going to end on this one. This is one I didn't need to open because I have this figure loose, and it's not this one here. That figure loose is this guy, which actually came out with the ATST that was in the Black Series packaging, which was arguably it was the Rogue One sort of equivalent of the ATST, which makes you wonder, what the hell were they doing? Why didn't they just put that in a vintage collection box? That would have been awesome, wouldn't it? But again, it was kind of good packaging in itself for that Black Series, because it was in a big kind of like, there was a massive cellophane, whatever you call it, a big window to the box so you could see the vehicle in there. Then this guy came with it. It was almost reminiscent of Legacy Collection packaging, So you can enjoy it both ways. Mint. And you can also see what the vehicle's like without having to open it. You know what I mean. Anyway, so the reason I put this guy here is just because, this is a really important one for my channel, because I have talked about the ATST driver right from the start. He's in like my top 10. He was in my top 10. I think he was in my first 10 videos or something, definitely my top 20. When you're kind of thinking about what they needed to bring into the vintage collection, and he was right in there. Not only did I have the ATST driver back in the day, which I'd love to be able to show you a picture of him on the back, but they don't do that no more, which is a real pain in the ass, actually, because look at this. I used to love it. Look at this. I've just got this layer just lying around here. Look at this. That was great when they did that. Why didn't they do that no more? Did somebody complain that they did it? I certainly didn't. I think you'll find that most collectors would like that on the back, but still, they got rid of it. But still, yeah, I had him as a kid, and I loved the Return of the Jedi. Most kids did, my sort of age. That was the big one, really. I'm a little bit younger than BOE. I think a decade younger than him. He's like one of the children or kids who would have seen 1977 Star Wars in the cinema. Well, I wasn't even born for that. I was born in 81, so in 83, I was too young to even see the Return of the Jedi in the bloody cinema. So I saw the Return of the Jedi first on I nearly said a cruise ship then. No. On a ferry crossing from Dover to Calais. And myself and my sister and others watched the Return of the Jedi on a kind of a cinema screen. It was great. It was brilliant. And then obviously I just remember playing with the figures when I got to France, But in fact, he actually has a better helmet. He's got a bigger helmet, this guy, than him. He looks a bit more... He looks less stocky, that guy. Got a smaller helmet, maybe scaled back a little bit. They chunked everything up in the Power of the Force 2, as we know, but they kind of scaled everything back quite nicely for the modern line. But this one here, I can understand now why they've put him on the vintage car, because he has more of the features of the original 80s than say he does. And that, by that I mean, he's got the visor that you can't see through, which is like what you couldn't see the eyes of the 80s guy. And his helmet looks a little bit wider. I don't know, this guy's helmet is definitely a different sculpt. Am I right? Am I completely making that up? Let's have a look. Yeah, they are completely different. Now, this guy, I got him loose, and somebody told me where he comes from. I think he came in the Hoth attack set or something like that. So I was quite lucky to get him. So I've got two variants. It's quite nice to know that I've got these two, that I could have them both piloting. Excuse me a minute, let me focus. Piloting my ATST. But I think these figures are too good to have inside the cockpit. So I've got like a crappy Power of the Force 2 one in the cockpit. I have him standing like he is there, just basically next to the ATST to give it some scale, And as for this fella, I have him poking out the top, out of the hatch, just like he does in the film. And if you take the helmet off, apparently this is Richard Marquand. And I assume the one that's in the packaging behind is also him. He died not long after the film was made, so I understand. If I've got that completely wrong, please do correct me. But I'd like to know a little bit more about him. I know very little, but I did enjoy his film. There was talk of Steven Spielberg directing that film, which, to be honest, it's his kind of thing, really. It's kind of a family film, isn't it, really? Return of the Jedi. I do know people who do not like that film. They're about 10 years older than I, maybe 15, and they would have seen Star Wars a ripe age in itself. You know, in 77 they would have been, you know, 10 or 12, and then when this came around it would have been a bit like, I think my mate, one of the guys I know, calls it Return of the Muppets. He's talking about the Ewoks. He just didn't dig it, but I don't know, I can't imagine not liking Ewoks. I mean, Ewoks, I can understand why people have a problem with it, because it's quite kiddish, isn't it? And they're a bit, is it believable that they can conquer the Empire? I accept all that film. I love it. You know, I'm just sort of like trying to get behind why anybody who wouldn't like that film. And I presume they could pin that blame on the Ewoks because, I don't know, they're a little bit daft and goofy, bobbing around everywhere like Care Bears. I don't know. I don't want to know, man. I love it. I love the Return of the Jedi. Not as good as Empire, but it's still right up there, you know. But anyway, this is awesome, isn't it? It's a great thing that they've done. They've brought the... Oh, wow, I've put him on the stand now. That's great, as I should have at the beginning of the video. Great that they've put him on a vintage modern card, because it's a classic. It's one of those few cards as well that are what I like to call vehicle cards. The only other ones of this type are this, the B-Wing, and the A-Wing. And as you know, we've had the B-Wing, Kian Farlander. What they really need to do is give us the A-Wing. I want them to give us 2 A-Wings, right? I want them to give us, like Kian Farlander, I want them to give us Taicho Salchu on the A-Wing card, right? They won't do that because the canon thing is out the window since the Disney acquisition, so I don't know where they stand on the EU properties of a Taicho Salchu, but, you know, someone like that. And then I want them to also give us Arvel Crinid on his own card back, where you can see his face, you know, like a shot of him in the cockpit. But that's a complete digression from the ATST driver. This is a classic. Really, really glad to do. The fact that they have given this in the vintage collection is a big thing for myself and my channel, because it was definitely on my list. And I just thought, come on, when are you going to give us this? And they've given it to us now. It's taken a long time, but we got there. There's only a few more on that list of my original wishes that I wanted for the vintage collection that are remaining. One of them is Dooku, but he's not even an original trilogy character. The only other big one that I really want is Tessic from back in the day. Squidhead. He's another one that's sort of looming, and I hope he comes out soon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching that video. If you are new around here, do subscribe and check out the rest of this series in the link that I'm going to leave in the description. Have a look at the other playlists as well. I do have channel membership open now, so do join if you wish to join the channel and get extra perks that stretch over my Patreon members get. So that's pretty cool. And also the only One Kenobi patches, I am now distributing those to certain people who qualify. So that's pretty cool. You know, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Is absolutely free. So hit that red subscribe button below if you want to see some more, because this series is going to roll on with some other characters coming soon. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out.